immigration, inadequate integration, and a misguided dogma of multiculturalism have proven a toxic combination for Europe over the last few decades. I'm not the first to point this out. In 2010, Angela Merkel gave a speech in which she acknowledged that multiculturalism had utterly failed. And then French President Nicolas Sarkozy and British Prime Minister David Cameron echoed similar sentiments shortly thereafter. Multiculturalism makes no demands of the incomer to integrate. It has failed because it allowed people to come to our society and live parallel lives in it. They could be in the society, but not of the society. And in extreme cases, they could pursue lives aimed at undermining the stability and threatening the security of our society. We are living with the consequence of that failure today. You can see it play out in the streets all over Europe, from Malmo to Paris, Brussels to Leicester. It is 13 years since Merkel gave her speech, and I'm not sure that very much has changed since. If people are not able to settle in our countries and start to think of themselves as British, American, French or German, then something is going badly wrong. National identity is not something invented in an ivory tower or by advertising executives. The nation state has endured because it means something real to almost all of us, and that is true the world over. Given how much it matters, it must be protected.
That was UK Home Secretary Braverman on the recent pro-Palestinian / pro-Hamas protests. You might have noticed that I used the word was. It was past tense. Yes, she was fired for these comments amongst many. We have a bravery deficit in our society because when someone dares to tell the truth, the axe falls upon their neck. Thus, others who have similar views decide that they don't want to take the pain, whether it be economically, being ostracized, being cast out of the political realm in an effort to speak the truth. This is the disincentive that is being offered by those who have taken over the government. When you have a lack of brave people that are willing to put themselves in harm's way in order to discuss something, in order to achieve something, then the other side runs roughshod over you. And that's exactly what we're seeing today everywhere in the West. And that is why it is so important that we all find our inner Braverman, interesting name that she has, but we have to find that brave man, braver man, inside of us in order to speak out. Otherwise, we will be overrun by the woke, by the terrorists, by those who pull down American flags on Veterans Day in a pro-Hamas rally. They are protesting in favor of terrorism. And just for the record, if you don't think that this is accurate, how many Muslims showed up on the streets of their countries and cities when 100,000 plus Houthis in Yemen were slaughtered, or in Syria, where Bashar Assad has killed countless number of his Muslim countrymen? They don't care about the deaths of Muslims. They don't care about the Palestinians. They care because it's the Jews that are being attacked and then attacking back. And how dare they defend themselves? How dare they? They should just allow their babies to be put in ovens and beheaded. And when somebody dares to speak it, whoa, the whole woke mob comes down on them.
Are you people dead? Are you people dead? Yes. Oh, good. Good. Oh, they dead. Oh, good.
And this is a conservative government in the UK that sacked this deputy of the Prime Minister for speaking the truth that everybody knows. You know how Kamala says diversity is our strength, how everybody says diversity is our strength on the left? Yeah, diversity of thought, not of skin color, and definitely not of values. Because when you have values that are antithetical to the system that they are coming in, there is a clash and a war of these values. And when one side is liberal and bends and wants to give people the benefit of the doubt, and the other is devout and hardened and ossified, which one do you think is going to win? The Muslim religion, and I've been to the Middle East and I've seen it in person, and believe me, there are a lot of really great people there. And there are people that are Islamists, that are ossified in their views, and you cannot get them to change their minds. They are intractable. And that is the clash that is going on right now. And all you're doing by firing such a person is removing the friction that they have in terms of taking over. You are paving the road so that they can go down with their cars and their Palestinian flags and yell about how evil Israel is, how evil the West is, even before Israel struck back, where they can celebrate the deaths of Jews. And yet, in England, you are arresting people for holding a flag of the UK because you are clashing with their right to protest, but not using the hate speech laws that Britain does have. They don't have a First Amendment about celebrating the deaths of Jews or cheering on Hamas, because these people are weak. They are not the Braverman, this woman that was sacked. And this is the death of the West, not through 1,000 cuts, but through greasing the skids and paving the roads for the enemy to come into your city. The enemy is not at the gates. They're within the walls of the castle.